First of all, welcome everyone. I'm really happy and excited to have you here today, and I hope you're all well and safe wherever you are in the world, despite all the craziness which is currently going on in the world. And I'm dialing in today from Munich, Germany. I had an amazing week staying at a friend's house. I visited friends, and we spent some cool time together. And I was also working, and yeah, it was just really cool. And today's topic is about brand strategy. And actually, I wanted to just tell you a little bit why I think this is important and why are we doing that today. When I came on board to launch you on Mentors, actually, I joined a masterclass about influence by Justin Wolf. And it was really interesting. And I thought I understood it, but I didn't really grasp the entire dimensions of all of this. But now I got the point. And just yesterday, when I was on my one-on-one call with Justin, actually, I told him how awesome his training is and how much sense it really makes. The guy is really a genius. Yeah, so, but it was not me that took a lot of time, to understand all of that and then implement that and install it in my business. I see that over the years, I've seen that a lot of people are struggling with their brand name or with their tagline, with their colors, the copy on their website or the copy on their emails, even about their services or their ads. And what it all comes down to is like a lack of clarity. And the clarity comes with your brand strategy and with your brand, because this is really the heart of your business. This is really where it boils down to and where you can derive all your messaging from later on. And I was thinking now, how can I get this message and how can I help my audience to give them a better understanding and tell them really how this works and make their life easier. So I thought, I'll probably do a series of videos, and I started last week already by publishing the first one about customer avatar in detail, and you'll find that on my YouTube channel. And then also this format, this webinar, and I'm really delighted to have a very special guest today, Juliana Rogers, an expert on brand and online strategies, who will share her knowledge with us and give us insights. So before we start that, actually, I wanted to share a little bit of an epiphany moment that I had this morning, just sitting at my friend's and having breakfast. And I was telling my friend about the webinar that I'm doing today and what it is all about. And he asked a question, and how does it relate to your business? And that made me really think again and revisit my brand strategy and what is my message. And so I'll double check that. And actually, my tagline is to create a business around my life. And it just made me look back and feel really grateful for the change in my life, that actually I can hang around and see friends and still work and do that all together. And I've got the flexibility. So I've created a business around my life, and I don't have to create my life around a business or about a corporate job or whatever. And why EarnItPassive? Well, it's not, I'm saying, or I'll use the term EarnItPassive and the brand name EarnItPassive, not because it is passive income in the sense that you invest some money and then you just get the money out of it. No, it's actually because you create a business around your life, you create also a business around your passion. And when you do something with passion, it doesn't really feel like work, but you really enjoy doing this. And but what I want to ensure that other people, or what I want other people to enable to, is actually that to get this disconnect work and money. That means if you work, you get money, and if you don't work, you don't get money. It's more like you create value for others and the money will follow, but it's not a one-to-one relationship. And in our today's world, in our online business world, actually, we create digital assets that will serve us well in the future later on, and that, other people can get value from. So, and the other point that I really, again, got just reminded is like the whole branding and brand strategy is a continuous process. It's not something that you do once and you put it in a drawer and you leave it there forever. It's going to change and it's going to grow with your journey and with your business, because so many things are changing so fast in today's world. I mean, how can you put a brand and leave it and just leave it there? So you have to work on it and clarify it and actually sharpen your message with all the insights and all the new levels and things that you see on your journey. So without having any more questions, let's jump into a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys should have any question, please can you
have to mute, Esther.
Can you please mute? I was just going to say, if you have any questions, please drop them into the chat. We have a Q&A section at the end where we will touch upon all your questions and handle them. Thank you. So with all of that said, I want to introduce you to Juliana Rogers. And I'm really, really happy to have you here, Juliana. Thanks really for joining and for taking the time and coming out here. And for those of you who haven't, who don't know Juliana yet, who haven't met her in the community, she joined the Mentors or Launch You community at the beginning of 2020. And I got to know her as a member also of the Elite program that was done at that time, which is now the new Accelerate, or the other way around, Accelerate is the new Elite. And what I've observed, because we started to connect and exchange and work together and joined our forces on the journey, what I observed was like how much attention she caught in the community, also from mentors and from other people, because naturally she was standing out of the noise. And why? And why is that? It's because she has got clarity. What do I mean by that? Well, she came in, she was very clear with also the background that she had, that she wanted to create her business and want to offer her own services and products. But she was not sure yet how to exactly achieve that. So she went back to the drawing board and she looked into her vision, her mission, and her values and got clear on that. And the result of all of that was like last year, she was able to acquire many, many good customers just online without spending a single dollar on paid advertising. How did she achieve that? With clarity and a clear brand strategy. So with all that said, Juliana, stage is yours, please. Yeah.
So welcome everybody. First of all, a question, Esther, could you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Juliana, I think you're on mute now.
Okay, again.
Okay, cool. Yes,
perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Okay,
awesome.
So I start again. My name is Juliana. I am super happy and delighted to be here with you and provide you with some value on what I do. So maybe to introduce you into myself a little bit, I started out as a classical ballet dancer. I had to stop during my later on studies and movements pedagogics due to an injury because I fell and I really hurt my knees badly. And then became an interpreter because I come from an interpreter's family. I spoke 5 languages, and so it was a logic thing to do. And I found myself going from the creative road that I had taken, being a dancer, to a total logical road. And I was working with people that I didn't like, being in businesses that I didn't admire. I had to travel, but it was not the sort of travel I wanted to do. Yes, I was wearing fancy clothes, but still it was like a suit and it wasn't me. So it didn't feel like Juliana. It was an amazing career. I even worked with the German Bundeskanzler, and I joined some other political diplomats. But to be honest, I was not happy doing that. And in 2020, I decided I have to change everything. I want to do something else, and I want to have an online business. And I wanted to move these 2 aspects of myself together, this being a creative and at the same time being a business person, having a business mindset. So I wanted to melt those, and I joined SFM. And at the time, or now Launch You, at the time, I didn't have a straight idea. I had many services that I could offer. I was coming from, due to my studies before, from communication, pedagogics, psychology. And I spoke many languages. So basically, I thought I should have everything I need. And it turns out I had. So with time, creating my online business, when I came to launch you back then, SFM, I knew immediately that being an affiliate is, for me personally, nice to have. But I wanted to create something that I love. And I wanted to be sitting in front of people like I'm doing now and being just happy, just being a happy cat, providing people with the value that I can give from the core of my heart. And you know how things proceed and how things sometimes turn out. And it is, as Steffen said, I don't know how I did, but I drew the attention to me. And I think I was the first person Justin spoke to from the community. And when I said I had a one-on-one with Justin, everybody was like, he's speaking to nobody. And yeah, he did. And well, we had this conversation, and later down the road, I was all clear on, okay, this is my business. This is my business strategy. I had so much feedback from the coaches and mentors in the community. And yet I was very, very clear on my brand, but I wasn't so clear on my services. And then came the first client, and all the services were clear, and it was just clear as day. And today, and that is the thing that I know I did not struggle at any point in time with what nearly everybody is struggling with in the community. And it is brand strategy. It's simply brand strategy. And it is the meeting point between you becoming or being an entrepreneur, having to think and act strategically, and you creating something aesthetically that is going to draw attention to you. Today, I want to give you a little outlook of what brand strategy is, why it is important, why it is for everybody and not only for large enterprises. Hashtag, why do you think they grew so big, by the way? And I hope I can share that with you. Housekeeping. I would suggest I'm going to do a Q&A in the afterwards, so that you don't forget your questions. If you want, put them in the comment section. I will read them and I will answer them live after my presentation. So now I would say we start the presentation, and I start giving you an outlook of what brand strategy is.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, cool. We see your screen.
Okay, there we go. First of all, you know that from the other calls, the materials, please note that all audio, video, and other information presented during this call is recorded in quality for quality marketing purposes, which may be discoverable in a legal matter. By joining the presentation, you automatically consent to such recordings. If you do not consent to being recorded, discuss your concerns with the host and do not join the session. The materials presented may not be copied, sent, emailed, distributed, shared, or further reproduced in any way. All materials are under legal protection, all rights reserved. We got that out of the way. We need to do that.
The classic.
We all hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started straight. What is brand strategy? Brand strategy is a strategic effort to influence. In brand strategy, there are three major pillars. Why you want to do that. Number one, you want to influence the feelings of your customer avatar, so they connect with you, understand what you offer, and how they will benefit from working with you. So you want to have an influence on your audience. Then it is about the culture you are going to establish with your brand, with your business. Establishing a culture in terms of ethics, values, and styles, which reflect how you work, who you are, and what your customer may expect from you, from the quality of your work. So that is the culture that you establish, and that is going to grow with you along the way that your business grows. We're going deeper into all of these topics later on. And ultimately, brand strategy has the ultimate goal to drive sales. because we do business to sell products. So creating a brand strategy has the ultimate goal to drive sales to your ideal customer. I hope that is logic to everybody. Now, why is brand strategy needed? It is very simple. Without a target, you can never hit a goal. So you need brand strategy to get clarity on your target, because by defining a target, you will also need to determine how you will hit this particular target. So you want to map out the steps and actions you're going to take to hit that goal. And this is done with a strategic effort that defines your actions and steps. And you need to plan them out, because this is something that you need to do by design and not by, let's say, accident. Now, brand strategy is actually to sharpen your arrow. Your arrow is your products and services which you want to sell, and you use the arrow to sell them, to spread the message, to be seen and visible to your audience. So all targets are nice to have, but if you do not have a bow and arrow, you will not hit the point. Part of your brand strategy is to understand which tools to use to hit your target. So let me repeat that. Part of your brand strategy is to understand which tools to use to hit your targets. We're coming back to that point later on. And you're not going to influence anybody without the answer to how you could have any influence if you do not know who to influence, how you want to create influence, and where to influence. And that goes back to your online strategy. So we have here the 3 pillars. It's the brand strategy, it's your communicational strategy, which is part of the brand strategy, and it's your online strategy, which is about the tools you use, your funnels and all that. We're coming to that. So let's start with your ideal customer. And you're going to see during that, and I'm going to make my biggest effort so that you understand that every of these pieces go together, they go hand in hand. So we start with our ideal customer. First, we want to know, what do they want? We want to know how they feel, and we want to know what is it that they fear. You need to understand, and I want to make this point as clear as only I can. You need to understand your ideal customer avatar from the inside out. Otherwise, your arrow is going to miss the point. It's going to miss the goal.
Exactly. Sorry, just to interrupt you for 1 second, Juliana. That it's so true, because that's a key mistake that a lot of people do. Like, they think about their customer avatar. Oh yeah, they only think about labels like demographics, age, gender, or hobbies, but the actual key bit is the emotions.
It's true, and that's the thing. It's the emotions of what they want. So what do you want creates an emotional resonance within you, and that is how you feel about what you want. And then there's one thing in between you, your ideal situation, where you want to go. It is your fear. And that's the thing. And we all know that. I have it. Every one of us has it. And for example, I am a person, everybody always thinks I am so self-secure, and I am not. I am further from that. Many people sometimes in real life, I don't think that ever happened in the online world, but in real life, many people think sometimes I was arrogant, and I'm not. I'm the least arrogant person you could imagine, but I'm shy. And that seems that I don't look shy, but I am shy. I am an extrovert introvert. So I partake, and this is why I'm so fluent in speaking, I partake in extrovert actions, but I am an introvert. So I would not talk about my feelings. I would not talk about my fears particularly, but I do have them. And these fears are what are keeping me from hitting whatever goal. And if you want to provide me any given service, You need to tell me that you understand my fear and that you're going to have a panacea to it, that you're going to have something that is helping me to get over this. And this is why in your messaging, we talk about that later, you need to talk about the fear of the customer. If you don't know the fear, you're most likely not to sell anything. And that's the thing. I'm not going deep. I'm not going today into how you can do that, because this is particularly my job, by the way. And you need to train that. You need to have proper materials to do that. But I want you to understand that this is one of the most important things in strategy, in brand strategy. So now branding in itself, we start with, when we had the customer avatar, we need to start with your mission and vision, because this is the legacy that you want to leave in the world. It is your legacy that is unique to you, that is unique to your message and to your brand. Now, what are values? First, we need to look at your core values. Values are a deep driver and purpose giver. If only we knew how much power they have, we would be so much wiser. And I'm going deeper into that in a second. In an ever more complex world, and I want you to understand that because it's so important, values become our North Star. My values, my personal values are gratitude, spirituality, integrity, loyalty, freedom, and growth. And I did not choose them like I chose my clothing this morning. They are my core. They came with me when I was born into the world. I did not choose them. They changed with time. I'm 40 years old now, and I guess 10 years ago they were different, but they are not going to change very often. Now, the values of my brand, of Juliana Rogers as a brand, are very similar to that, but they are a little bit different. But to take one only is growth, or let's take two, growth and freedom. They are part of my brand because I want to help other entrepreneurs to set free and to grow with their businesses personally and financially for freedom, so that they are free from having to work as an employee, that they are financially free, that they are locally free, that they are free to do whatever their mind and heart and soul can come up with. That is my goal. And these are, there you can see how my personal values are a driver for my business. And that's the thing. And now we come to the mission. And you want to determine the mission you are on. I already just talked about the mission that I have. So you are on a mission. Every one of us is on a particular mission. And by the way, it is a very individual one. It is just as with the values, nothing that you just put on in the morning, like you would put on a suit or a coat or a scarf or your glasses. It's something that comes from deep within, and you need to get clarity on that. To let your customers know who you are and what they can expect from you in terms of the values. My customers can expect from me that I am never going to make them dependent upon me or upon any service. So I always try to provide my customers as much freedom as only possible. For example, if one day they would decide no longer wanted to work with me, they are free to move on. I don't want them to depend on me. If they want to stay, I'm happy, but then they stay willingly and not because they are forced to. You see, personal value, mission, and that is the vision. Now we're coming into the vision, and it is how you want to leave the world. So if you think about yourself and your business in terms of, this is my marketplace and I'm moving on in this marketplace. And the day, if I would just vanish tomorrow, if tomorrow I wasn't there, what is going to be left from my work? So how do I want to leave the planet? What is it that I want to change in the world? around your personal legacy. And that's the nice thing in being an entrepreneur. You just create your own legacy. You don't have to be Juliana working for a ministry, having to follow certain rules. There are no rules I have to follow because I set my legacy for my enterprise, for my business, and so do you. And that, by the way, is part of brand strategy, to define these things. Now, from here, we had the customer avatar. Now we talked about the values, mission, and vision. You want to have them written out. You can see it on my webpage. If you go on About, you can read my mission and vision and values and how that looks like and how it should look like for you, more or less, but very individually. Now, let's go deeper, a layer deeper. I don't know if you know the word, the book Man's Search for Meaning. And I just, let's say, translated this, Man's Search for Belonging. Every person is looking for belonging to a group, belonging to your family, belonging to a country, belonging to a city. You want to belong to so many things, and it is the most natural thing that every human just comes into the world with. This is what we strive for. Even the lone wolves, even those who are rather like me, for example, I love to be alone. I love living alone. Yet at the moment I don't do, but I lived alone for so much time and I love it. And by the way, once a year, I need to go on vacation alone. I need this alone time to recalibrate. Yet still, I need belonging. And you do too, if you think about it. No, in your customer avatar needs to be persuaded. And in brand strategy, it is the deliberate control of emotional experiences. Let me repeat. It is the deliberate control of emotional experiences. Sounds scary? Chill. You want to deliberately control the emotional status and the emotional experiences of your customer avatar, but you want to do this ethically. In marketing, in branding, many people are not ethical. They don't act ethically. I do think, and I'm a huge advocate in making it ethical, and there is a way to do it. And there is no need to persuade somebody to buy something or buy into ideas which they don't want or which they don't need. And this is why we want to understand our customer avatar, so that we are communicating to the person that needs what we have to offer. And now you want to tell them what you have and persuade them. And yes, you need to influence their emotions, because you need to communicate into their fears and into their emotions. So it is a strategic effort to influence. Brand strategy is a strategic effort to influence the emotional status of your ideal customer avatar. Your customer avatar once is seeking for a feeling of belonging, man's search for belonging. So you need to influence the feelings of your customer avatar by creating this feeling of belonging and, most importantly, trust through clear brand message. If you have a clear brand message, let's turn that around. If you know your customer avatar well, you are going to be able to speak into their feelings directly through your message. Now, we all want to feel safe, and the way you convey your message and where you do that has a huge influence on your customer's emotions. So make sure your message creates a room of safety, understanding, and nurture. Let me give you an example. Some people perceive Facebook as a not safe place, and other people perceive Facebook as the coolest place to be. Two totally different customer avatars, two totally different standpoints. If you know which of the two is your customer avatar, and let's choose the one who does not feel safe on Facebook, you are not going to communicate to them on Facebook. you're just going to miss your target. But let's say this person feels rather safe going on your webpage, downloading something, downloading, let's say, a freebie you give them, and maybe directly make an appointment with you so they get in touch with you. It's just an example. But in this case, you create a feeling of belonging and safety because you understand that they don't want to have anything to do with Facebook. If the other customer avatar likes Facebook, thinks it's an amazing thing, and yet you have a business that needs to be portrayed with pictures, where do you go? Instagram. And what do? You link your Instagram to your Facebook account, so you will meet both. You will meet the customer avatar who's on Facebook by you not being on Facebook at the same time, because you're on Instagram, because that's the platform which is more suitable for your business. But at the same time, you are on Facebook and you reach your customer avatars on Facebook. I don't know if I'm getting that well through, but I hope you, I guess you get the gist. Now, and that's the thing, you have to take a decision. You have to take clear decisions, because in the process of you creating that brand strategy, there are many decisions to be made. And one is definitely the part of your strategy in terms of where, when, and how are you going to influence. Because by wobbling around and changing your style of message, because in all that, there is going to be a style of message. You're going to have a certain style. As I was talking about the legacy you create, the ethics you portray, and all of that, they all together come together as your style. And if you don't, if you're not rigorous in that style, if you're not continuously portraying the same style, you're creating confusion. And your brand will not be a brand. Your brand will be a logo, but not a brand. A brand is not a logo. A brand is a feeling. And brand strategy means when, where, and how are you going to convey these feelings? So you want to create stable messages instead of trying a bit like this, trying a bit like that, being a bit here and being a bit there. Take deliberate decisions based on your strategy so that you can make a strategic effort to influence the emotions of your customer avatar. As I said, be deliberate, be strategic to ultimately be successful. And there's a logic behind being deliberate, because success is made by design, not by accident, I can tell you that. And these are your brand strategy pillars. Because I know that by now, I guess you have understood a lot of what I said, but I know you're still totally confused of what actually brand strategy is. And here it is. You need to see brand strategy in the shape of splitting it into 3 pieces. And you split these 3 pieces into more. And I have just put together some of it, but there is much more to it. So the first part, and it's not that you would say 1, 2, 3, because they all go in together. When you work with me, then we're definitely going to start with your core values, your mission, your tagline, and all that. And the logo and colors may very possibly be at the very end of the whole process. And everybody, and that's the mistake they make, they start with the logo, with their fonts and colors, and think that's my brand. And that's brand design. That is the look and feel of your brand. Part of the look and feel of your brand is your values, mission, and vision. It's the feel, your ideal customer avatar, which is also strategy, but it has to do with the design. That goes to the brand archetype, which today I'm not even touching on. If I did, we would be sitting here tomorrow. Then it's the tone of voice you create. You can either be humorous, you can be straightforward, you can be serious, you can be humble, you can be loud, you can be colorful, you can be all that, but you cannot be all that at the same time. So you have to take a decision. And now the strategy, it's about the strategy and brand strategy. It's about the actions taken. It is the very thorough competitor analysis that you have to make. And that is something that is a thing that very many people in the community struggle with. I know that is the competitor analysis, because they don't know how to do that. And it doesn't get clear to them immediately how important it is, but it's one of the most important things in brand strategy. I'm not going deeper into why, just so that you get a little idea. You need to do what your competitors do, so that number one, not willingly and not unwillingly copy them, because you want to be unique. You don't want to be a copycat, absolutely not. And you want to be better than them, because you want to, I don't want to say beat them, but in the lack of a better word, you just want to be better than them. So you want to know what they do in order to make it better. That's just the thing. Now, part of the strategy, and I touched on this before, is the platforms you use, is the funnels you create. How do these funnels look? And creating a sales funnel, by the way, is totally different for every business. There is no one size fits all to sales funnels. And that's the thing that many people get wrong, because your sales funnel and how you make it, how you create it, the steps in your sales funnel are very, very unique and individual to your goals, to who you are speaking to, when you're speaking to them, how you see it's an individual thing. And ultimately, it's about your service pillars. For example, my service pillars are brand strategy and online branding and being a consultant. So I have clients I work with just as a consultant, because they are ready to do everything themselves. And then I have clients who I work with. So I'm doing a done with you thing, and work with them on all of these pillars that we have. And the most important is your service pillars. Just to give you one example, if you have a business like I have, it's a little bit different when you are an affiliate. Then there's another strategy needed. But if you have your own business, you always want to have 3 service pillars. Just go on, let's say, Fiverr. You can always choose between 3 sizes, 3 packages. Wherever you go, normally you have 3 packages. And even in Launch you have currently 3 packages, or even more. I don't know. I'm not so up to date with them right now, but they have more than 1 package. If you go to your hairdresser, you can have your hair washed, cut, and blown. You can have it tinted. You can have an undercut, and I don't know what. And if you're a man, you can even have your beard done, and you can have your eyebrows made. You can have them tinted. You get my drift. So they have more than just one offer. So you want to make sure that you strategize on your service pillars. And ultimately, and I also touched on that, it's the messaging to persuade. So it's the language used, the language placed, meaning the Facebook versus, let's say, Instagram example that I used. You want to make clear which are your core messages and the value you give. So if you watch that, if you look at that, and if you look back to what I've presented now, maybe, and I hope that you understand that it all goes together. And it is a process. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, because you have to keep going. And as you progress, as your business progresses, these things may change. I just changed the font that I used for my logo, just the font for Juliana Rogers, because I felt like It's not modern enough, but I'm still sticking to my compass, which goes back to my granddad's compass. It's another story. Maybe you can find it in Launcher and SFM. I told that story more than once. If you're interested, look for it. And you will definitely go through the same things. But the most important thing here in these things that I have listed here are that you understand that you keep working on them. It is not done in a day. It is an effort to be made, but the effort has the ultimate goal of making you successful. And I would believe that if I look back, no, let me be very straightforward. I know if I look back 2 years, I've met so many incredible people. I was so successful because I was clear in the beginning on what is it that I want. I became even clearer and clearer and clearer with every step along the way. I did not make any detours. I was straight, but I was not fast. Being fast, going through these things in a fast motion, in a fast manner, will make you very likely to make mistakes, which later on you're going to regret. And I say that so straight because I want you to understand that taking time to digest things, taking time to understand what is your value, what is your truth, is very important. And sometimes we tend to rush through things because we know there is so much to do and even more that we have to do. But getting these things right in the first place will help you with the heavy lifting, or with the heavy liftings there are in creating an online business. Now, your brand strategy will be the cause for your success. Success made by design. If you want to be further in touch with me, if you want to discuss your brand strategy, you can visit me online at julianarogers.com. There's a button where you can book a free discovery call to talk about your brand strategy. Follow me on Instagram. I just started on Instagram because I knew it is part of my strategy and I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to do it good and give it the necessary attention. Now I have the time. Now it gets my attention and you will get it too if I meet you there. So that was about it. I would say I hand over back to Steffen for a second and we come to your questions, to the Q&A.
Cool. Thank you so much, Juliana. That was really, really insightful. I can see now at the moment there's no questions yet in the chat, but actually I noted down a couple of questions already while you were talking. So let's fill that in for now, and so the people can come and also probably come with their questions. So when we think about your values that you said, how are your values connected to your business brand colors, for example?
Oh, that has to do with the brand archetype. I touched on that with just one word. There are many, I think 16 brand archetypes, and they have to do with your customer avatar. For example, I am the brand archetype of the creator. The creator has the colors pink, has the colors burgundy, even certain greens, and it is attached to certain things. It is somebody who shows the way and helps to create the way, to build the way along the road. And your brand colors, depending on who are you and what is your archetype, your brand colors should match. So no, let me go back. It's a very complex topic. Your brand archetype needs to match your customer avatar and vice versa. And that why, because you have that particular brand archetype, it is tied into colors. So for example, if I had blue colors, say Facebook blue, I would totally miss the point, totally, because the creator is not blue, because blue stands for, it just stands for other values, it stands for other perceptions. And you need to know your archetype first to then choose your colors. And you need to know your customer avatar before you know your brand archetype. Did I convey the message?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You're asking me about the most complex topic of brand strategy.
Yeah. That's another topic for another session, also about brand archetypes. We got 2 more questions coming in. First one,
Let me see. How important is finding, how important, it's Saga, hi. How important is finding the right name for your brand? So Saga, you can unmute if you like. Just for the rest of the community, Saga and I are working together, and maybe Saga can later on say something about working with me, how she felt, how scary it was working with me. Yes, the finding the right name is pretty important, and at the same time it's hard. Sometimes it's the easiest thing, but it depends on your strategy. It depends on what you want to do, to just go with your personal name and create a personal brand. But for example, if we compare Juliana Rogers and EarnItPassive, just let that sink in. Close your eyes maybe for a second and think Juliana Rogers and think EarnItPassive. There is a huge difference, right, in what you expect from that company. Juliana Rogers is definitely a person. So you definitely expect that you're going to be working with one person. Most probably, if it's not, let's say, if it's not cosmetics, I don't know why cosmetics pops into my head, but there are cosmetics brands that have a personal brand, but the personal brand existed, the person with the personal brand existed before they created cosmetics. And that's the thing. Now, if you think about that personal brand, say Kylie Jenner, and then there's Jenner Cosmetics. I'm just mentioning these because more or less everybody should know them. And Kylie Jenner, I think she was a model. She's a Jenner. So everybody knew her. And now comes Kylie Cosmetics. So you attach these services and these products to that person. If you hear EarnItPassive, it's not about a person. And that definitely is about earning money with passive income. It most probably has to do with having a remote lifestyle. Most probably it has to do with tech stuff, and very much possible there's a platform behind it. So you see, even from the name, choosing your name has to do with what you want to do. And it's, as I said, nothing to rush through. It's something to think about very well. Did that answer your question? Do you want to jump out and say something later on?
I can actually do it now.
You can do it, go on.
Excuse me.
Maybe you introduce yourself first.
Yes. Well, you see my name there. Sarah B. Christ. And I have known Juliana for a while. I've known of her through the SFM. She started a little bit before me though, but we kind of met in the community. And then we kind of got together on more personal notes last summer. And so I've been working with her, and, I have to say, and probably more people can relate to that when you are trying to start your own business like this, your mind is all over the place, and you have millions of ideas, and you are trying to puzzle them together, and, it's just a mess. And that was basically me when I met Juliana. And she's such a quick thinker, you know, she can almost hear what you're saying before you even say it, and she already has an answer. And so for me, she was so good with the puzzle pieces, you know, whatever that is, strategy, vision, mission, design, logo, tagline, you know, you name it. Whatever it is, she knows how to kind of puzzle it all together so it becomes a picture. And that is, you know, that really suited me. That was all over the place with all my stuff. So I'm really learning a lot today, though, Juliana, from what you've been saying. I've been taking notes like crazy as well. And yeah, I look forward to continue working with you, because I feel safe with you.
Thank you. Wow, that's amazing. I've never heard you say that. Thank you so much. Okay, Saga is going to create an amazing business. I know the ins and outs of her business, more or less. I mean, we're going deeper there, and you're definitely going to see her later on your journey. Now, let me go to the other question. As a newbie to launch you, where should one start even thinking, should I make a personal brand or brand? How to make these decisions? Sophie, do you want to jump out and elaborate on your question? I want to give you a proper answer, which I wouldn't have now because I need to understand the question better. Sophie? Sophie is not hearing me. So let me try, and I hope, I mean, I already answered.
Yeah, I think partially it has been answered. So from my understanding, like, okay, if I go off as a newbie and I think about a business and I have to think about all these things and have to make all these decisions, like, okay, where do I start? And then should I choose a personal brand, like using my own name as a brand, or using like another name which is not related to my name as well? And I think that's something that's a really good point that really a lot of people struggle with. And I had that, you know, have that received also from a lot of students in the community. Yeah, maybe can you give some guidance on, because I think you answered the question already about the types of brands, but maybe you can give some guidance on how to approach these decisions?
Yes, I would say, so there is no one fit all answer. That's the problem with this a little bit, because it's a very individual thing. But there is some general aspects to it. So if you, for example, want to be a coach, consultant, teacher, and maybe later on want to offer, as I said, any kind of physical products, but you first of all are a coach consultant, let's say, I don't know, fitness coach, and then you want to offer the classics, yoga mats, I don't know, jumpers or whatever, these things. Probably you want to go with your personal name, because your personal name, then you can create a hashtag from your personal name. I'm right now creating Juliana Rogers as a hashtag, and you should think about because your name is unique to you, but it depends on your name. There is, for example, Steve Greenharsh. It took me, and I speak 5 languages, it took me many times to understand how to pronounce the name, because I actually had to ask him. I had to reach out and ask him, because I read it, and from reading it, I could make no sense of how to pronounce it. And I know many people struggle with it.
And probably also to type in the URL if you want to jump to the website. Probably if you don't know how to spell the name, you can't even properly search on it, or you might just, okay.
That's the thing. So you need to make sure that your name, let's say on an international level, when you say your name, like Joyce, for example, Joyce, if I hear the name, I know how to type it. Your surname, not so sure. So that's the thing. Your name should be something easy, like Juliana Rogers, for example. If it's totally not, number one, either you give yourself an alias, or you choose a brand name. Now, brand name, all of that are brand names, but it's a, let's say, product name versus personal name. Let's call it like that to be easy, to make things easy. So a product name, like we have, let's say IKEA. IKEA is popping into my head. If you're not sure how your business is going to become, if you are at a point where you say, I start out with being an affiliate and I don't know what I'm going to meet later down the road, then you have a little bit of an issue. And I would rather choose a very generic name that you can repurpose and that you can reuse. But I would stay away from choosing something very specific, which in another field you cannot repurpose. And then you are going to have the issue of having two names, two brands, so 2 web pages, SEO twice, 5,000 sales funnels. How are you going to handle your social media accounts and all that? So you are going to run into issues. But you can always think in terms of do some research, similar niches, people in similar niches, products in similar niches, what are their names? But a name should always be memorizable, spellable. So if you hear it, you need to make sure that everybody from everywhere who at least speaks English is able to spell it and to look for it on the web. Okay, I think I answered Sophie's question. Great. Is there any other question? You can just jump out. You can unmute and jump out. Don't be shy. We're not going to eat you. Okay, I think
if you could maybe explain a little bit better about the pillars you talked about. I was a little bit confused about the brand strategy pillars. Can you maybe?
What are the parts of brand strategy or the service pillars?
Yeah, you talked about design, strategy, and message. Is this the kind of the 3 pillars? Is that the design, strategy, and message?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Okay.
Because you have, and I would actually, if I think about it now, I would rather put the design on the 3rd place. Maybe I didn't think about when I did the presentation, I didn't think about it, didn't mind of the 1, 2, 3 in which direction they come, but I would actually say it depends. For example, with you, I mean, we are coming close to have I guess we are very close to having your logo done. With you, it was simple, but sometimes it's totally not. Sometimes we first need to understand, definitely, we need to understand the customer avatars before. And in your case, we know the customer avatar. In your case, we know all that. So it's easy for us to create the logo because we know who's going to look at it. It's a female. So we can go with colors, with female colors. We can go colorful. We can go with gold and all that. If it was a man or if it was both, we would not do that. Did that answer the question before I digress too much?
Yeah. It was basically this, if this was the 3 pillars or if I got it wrong, but yeah.
No, it's this. There are the 3 pillars of your strategy, of your brand strategy, many more in the 3 than I displayed here, but these are the 3, and then there are the 3 pillars of your services. So the 3 service offers that you have. And actually the 3 is, if I think about it now, the 3 is a very continuous thing, because you have the magic 3, and also in brand strategy there's the magic 3. I didn't even touch on that, which is web page, social media, and product funnels, sales funnels. That's the magic 3. And the 3 in brand strategy, also in online strategy, is a totally repetitive thing. So if you keep the 3 in mind and you see that you're hitting a wall with something, ask yourself, how can I split that into 3? And then you just think about 1, 2, 3, and it's going to make things easier. If you look at them, when you split it into smaller chunks, into smaller pieces, because these are more digestible.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think that I totally agree. I mean, that makes, I think, total sense that if you have something which seems like too big to kind of chew in one go, like split it and, do it step by step. Cool.
There is a last question and I want to answer it. And I think then we have to jump. If you have a generic niche that involves a large group, how do you create your design? I hope I hope I pronounce your name correctly. If it's Chica, if it's not, I'm sorry. So Chica, if you are generic, you are not going to sell. There is no generic niche and there is no large group of people that you sell to. If you're trying to sell to everybody, you end up selling to nobody. And if you think you are generic in a generic niche, I'm sorry, sometimes, as nice as I am, sometimes I have to be German, and Germans are tough and hard. Okay, I was right. Then you're wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that, but don't be generic. Never be generic.
I think this is already an indicator this is a good indicator that you can observe your brand strategy in the end, right? If you struggle in these sort of areas, probably you have to niche down and be laser focused on who are you marketing to, because there's always a niche, and the more you specialize, actually, the clearer you are on your target audience. That doesn't mean that you're not attracting other people, but it makes your audience really and your messaging and everything like consistent.
Let me take one example here, and let me go back to the word generic and niche are opposites of each other. Yes, Sophie. Yeah. Well said. I signed that. Boom. Approved. Yeah, let's take IKEA. Everybody knows IKEA. It's all over the world, and we could tend to think that they have a generic audience, and they don't. They are super specific. Let me show you something. This dude is IKEA, and I created this thing. It was an E-bar shelf, and I love design, but I'm not willing to spend $2,000 on a shelf. Even, I don't want, it has nothing to do with if I have the money or if I don't. It's just like, no, it's no, I'm going to move. I'm going to think, no, it doesn't fit. I'm going to, no, it's just no. And that's the thing. But I'm ready to jump in my car, go there. By the way, one day before lockdown, this dude has such a story. I'm ready to lift the heavy weight onto the trolley, lift the heavy weight alone, being a woman, into my car, being proud about myself, go home, take all of the tools I need, adjust them myself, be pissed in the meantime, drink a glass of wine, and have a new shelf. You see, I'm making fun, but I'm making this I'm making this to let you see this is the customer avatar. It's somebody who, for any reason, is not going to spend much on furniture, and they even have a range. They have expensive stuff and they have super cheap stuff. But it's the people who are willing to have something that everybody could have. But it's always that thing. And if you look at IKEA of personalizing, with IKEA, actually, you can personalize a lot and you can get creative a lot. Look at Lone Fox on YouTube, really look at him. Lone Fox, let me write that. Lone Fox. This guy will show you what a niche is, that there is nothing generic. This guy will show you, he has a DIY channel. He has an amazing brand strategy. I can tell you, this guy is to be followed. And he's not generic at all. And he DIYs furniture from IKEA, for example. And then he matches it with a $10 thing from Amazon. And he's an affiliate marketer, by the way. He started as an affiliate marketer. Okay, and that is the thing, the note I want to close. It's the most important one. If you want to be an affiliate marketer, if you want to be successful as an affiliate marketer, you need to have a brand. You need to have a brand if you want to be successful as an affiliate marketer.
Oh,
you cannot sell anything without that brand.
That's right. Thanks so much, Juliana. I think we should slowly wrap up, just also because we want to respect everyone's time. Thank you so much for being here, for giving all these values. I think that the main takeaway is like, you really also have to sit down and take these things seriously because you want to build a solid foundation. And I've got a quick last question, like, how can people get in touch with you and see if you can help them?
You can go on my webpage. It's julianarogers.com. You can book a discovery call on the webpage with me. You're going to be forwarded to Calendly. But you can also just shoot me a message at contact@julianarogers.net. If you look for my julianarogers.net webpage, it's the mask that I created when I started. If you want to see a before and after, there you can see it. If you want to see no brand versus the brand, kidding here. And if you want to work with me, I would love to have you on board. By the way, I have created a discount code for people who come in via EarnItPassive. And if you want to get in touch and work with me, send me the discount code at #EarnItPassive. And you can reach out at Juliana Rogers Official, which is my Instagram handle.
But it means, right, so people get in touch with you and they can book a call, which is a free discovery call, and to get some more information, understanding whether, how you can help and if you can help. And yes. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for joining and attending. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of the weekend. Take care, stay safe, and stay tuned in.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.